Welcome, everybody, to Russ Reels Live this afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We're going to have an amazing conversation today. The power and pitfalls of AI, such a hot topic today. And we have an amazing panel. You don't want to miss it. So share this out. Here we go. Special thank you to our sponsors of Russ Reels Live, the Alzheimer's Association, Boulder Falls Inn of Lebanon, Oregon, and Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. For more information on how to give to the Alzheimer's Association and support this amazing organization, go to alz.org. And for information on the Boulder Falls Inn of Lebanon, Oregon, and their amazing conference facility, go to boulderfallsinn.com. And finally, Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer and Tim Sohn, this amazing organization supporting people going through cancer. Go to perspectivesoncancer.com. Music by Connor Hedge and Protestant, used with permission. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Russ Reels Live on this Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I am glad that you're here. It is going to be an amazing conversation today. I'm just going to sit back, listen, and learn, and I hope you do too. There's going to be so much value today. So many people in different areas working with AI or learning how to adapt to AI. And learning about what is great and maybe what is challenging and not so great. And so, man, we've got a lot to learn. So today's going to be really, really great. So buckle up. Make sure that right off the bat, you share this out. Let your friends know what's going on, because you know what? Whether it's daytime or evening or morning where you are, it is time to remind people that we're on, because people get busy. You know what? My friends in Australia, it's first thing in the morning now, and they're just getting their day started. So it depends where you are. Make sure that you let them know so everybody knows what's going on. It's as easy as just tagging them too. You can share the whole show, or you can just put an @ sign and tag your friends. Let them know that we're on, and please do that. Everybody right now, let people know what's going on and be involved and engaged in the comments, because that's what makes it fun. So many great connections are made in the comments. And, I am a huge fan of connection and community building. I'm all about that, right? That is what I love, connecting with great people like those on the panel today, great friends here today, and also just building great community. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. That's what Jim Rohn says, and I truly believe that. He was a great man of wisdom. And I'm telling you, you hang around people, you're going to become like them. So get good people, elevate those you hang around with, and get people that know great topics like today, like the power and pitfalls of AI. I'm telling you, it's going to be so good. So I want to let you know, as I talk about connection, I love to connect. So go to russhedge.com today. Russhedge.com gives you all the information about me. And I would love it if you would do that, because we are just continuing to build this community bigger and bigger. I love the social medias and all the different things. You can connect me any way you want. You have all of that. You can email me, you can call me, you can even schedule time on my calendar. It's all right there for you to do. So I hope that you do that today. Also, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube page at russreels.live. That's right. I keep it simple. So if you know my name, you get to my website. If you know the name of this show, you can get to my YouTube page. And I'm telling you, the YouTube page is really growing. And I find out every day how much more popular my pets are on YouTube Shorts than I am. So if you want great value and all the live streams and the amazing people I have that are all there on YouTube, you want to subscribe. But if you just want to smile too, my pets will make you smile for sure. They're a lot cuter than I am. So so today, tune in and please go to russreels.live today and subscribe. And that would be so great. Okay, there's so much got to cover today. First thing we're going to start off with, I had an amazing chat with my friend Cammie, and this was not, I'll tell you right off the bat, this was not the greatest video, but you can hear the audio really well. And the system was glitching that day, but you can hear what she had to say. She's really fine-tuned in marketing and all of that and dealing with AI. And so she had a lot of good things to say. Just a couple minutes here. We're going to start off the show with Cammie, and here we go. Well, hey, Cammie, how are you doing?
I'm great, Russ. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. Listen, we are talking the power and the pitfalls of AI today. And I know that you are really an expert when it comes to AI and all the things you're doing. You've really been diving into that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So AI right now is obviously everybody's talking about AI, first of all. So it's like AI this, AI that. What I am trying to work with, I work with communicators, and that's our job. Our job is to communicate. And of course, AI is going to be a huge part of what impacts our job really for the next 20 years. I mean, there's all kinds in our lives, but for us who do words and, content creation and that kind of stuff for a living, also for any content creators like yourself, this has become like a huge part of what we have to understand. Even if it's, even if we have some pitfalls about it or some reservations, I guess is a better way to say it. And I have a lot of reservations about it because I don't think that AI is here to serve you. It's here to serve the people that are using it, the people that own it, that are putting it out there. So they're going to want you to use it. First of all, I want you to understand that AI is a great imitator. When we go and get really good communications training, one of the things we're taught to do is to mirror the person that we're talking with, right? So you shake your head, I shake my head. It connects people together. If you mirror them, it makes them understand that you're listening to them, right? So guess who's the best at mirroring? AI. AI is very good at mirroring you. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, no, that's perfect. And, that's the thing. I think that there's so many amazing resources you can use in AI. I've used it for research. I've used it to help with trying to get unblocked from a paragraph that I'm trying to write. And also it's really good. We have one of our guests tonight who also is using it to talk to seniors and look up information for senior citizens that are looking for somebody to talk to and somebody to give them information, like on a topic or whatever. There's so many great ways to use it, right?
Yeah, there truly is. And in fact, I was talking to my Uber driver. Actually, I was going to go speak about this topic at a conference. And my Uber driver was telling me that she was using it to keep from calling her ex-boyfriend. So, I mean, people are using it for therapy, for all kinds of things. And interestingly enough, her AI talks to her in the same colloquial way that she talks to it. Remember what I was telling you about mirroring? It's so good at that. And so just remembering that too, by the way, when you're using it. So always question what you get out of AI. So I am kind of throwing some breaks in here. I use it every day too. I use it for every kind of reason. And I have an amazing recipe method that will help you to learn how to talk to an AI in a way that it's going to get you more out of it. You can grab my recipe method at cammichat.com. All you have to do is just go there and the recipe method is there. Grab it there. It's free. It's just a download. But the bottom line is I want you to think. I want you to have critical thinking when you're using it. And I want you to be the master of the AI, not the AI to be the master of you.
And I think that's so amazing because in the mirroring, you get the opportunity to do that, to actually put out there what you want to receive back. And so, Cammie, as always, amazing. Appreciate you having you on and so thankful for your great input. And have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank
There you go. That was amazing. Just a short chat with Cammie, but she's really diving into AI. And, I'm going to jump right in with my good friend D. Scott Smith next, who's one of my co-hosts, he is my co-host on half the shows that I do. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, Russ, thanks for letting me join you on Russ Reels. I just want to make a quick shout out for Cammie too. The reason why you did the recording with her and she's not here live tonight is that she's being given a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Public Relations Group, and this is a big deal. So, congratulations to Cammie.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And Scott, in the sake of time, give everybody just a little snippet. Who is D. Scott Smith, and what are you all about? And then we'll dive in.
Yeah, so I'm here in Waco, Texas. I've got a radio show, the Waco Experience, an American Story. And that runs on radio station KBBW here in Central Texas. And then I also run digital ads for businesses and function as a chief of staff, a fractional chief of staff.
Awesome. And you've got this awesome co-host on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott every week. And so it's so great to have you here, Scott. I appreciate you. And before we dive deep into our conversation, we're going to bring in the gentleman I was talking about first, Dan Hungerford, who has put together this amazing new thing. Hey, Dan.
You guys, great to be with you, Russ and Scott. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and I know that's probably not new for you because you've been working on this a long time. But boy, I tell you, when I learned about this, I was thinking, well, my parents could have really used what Dan's putting together. So we're going to get more into that, Dan. But right now, just let everybody know, who is Dan Hungerford? What are you up to?
Well, I'm based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are working on solving some of the problems that we haven't been able to solve for a lot of years that AI is allowing for now. Some of that personalization, some of that things that Cammie was talking about. We haven't always been able to do that. And so my company right now, we deal with social isolation with people that are, our grandmas, our grandpas, our moms, our dads that are over 65, that just in those gaps in life when families get busy, that they just feel like they need a little extra support. So we've built an AI that looks, sounds, and acts real, has those great, meaningful conversations, jokes, and tells stories with them just to make them feel a little bit less lonely in those moments. We've heard a lot in the science lately about the effects of that social isolation, and with 7.7 million people in the country like that, we want to make sure we're doing everything we can. And so it's been a great journey.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And we were talking about you this morning, Kate Pinkerton and I. She was on my morning show. And so we were kind of prepping the whole thing for you today. And she, of course, is engaged in the same industry and loves what you do and works with you on that. So we'll talk more about that. So next, we're going to get in Craig Tucker. Mr. Craig Tucker, how's it going, buddy?
Good to see you, Russ. Scott, nice to see you. Dan.
Yes, it's so great to have you here today, Craig. And give us a little snippet. Who in the world is Craig Tucker? What are you up to?
Thanks, Russ. I appreciate that. Well, I'm a creator and founder of Vern AI. We're a real-time emotion recognition system. It's patented, used by tens of thousands of people worldwide, award-winning mental health and customer service applications.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Short and sweet, but to the point. That was so great. Thank you, Craig. That is so great. We'll talk more about that next. All the way from Guatemala, Dimitry Ortiz. Hey, Dimitry, how's it going, buddy?
Hello, Russ. Hello, everyone. Scott, Dan, Craig, everyone. I'm happy to be here. It's from Guatemala City, Guatemala, the land of the Mayan Empire. So, yes, I'm an AI and automation expert. I specialize in helping small, medium-sized businesses with their internal operations, helping them leverage this wonderful technology. So, yes, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, it is so great. And you can tell Dimitri has been on my show a few times, everybody, because he doesn't even wait for me to ask who he is. He just dives right in and tells me, saves me time. All right. Thanks for coming today, Dimitri. And Victor Villegas. Hey, Victor, how you doing? Oh, other than hearing you, you look great. It's always technology, always technology. Still trying to hear you, Victor. Yes. Something has actually happened. I don't know what. Can any of you hear Victor? Want to make sure it's not me. Okay. Aha. We got a plan. Yes. Sometimes my AirPods get stolen by my phone and they pull it away from my computer. And maybe that's what happened with Victor today. He is in Wilsonville, Oregon today at a conference, and he is from Oregon State University. Scott and I here are both Beavers. Go Oregon State. Didn't make it to the championship game of the World Series this year, but almost. And so, well, we're still trying to hear you, Victor. But you're looking good. All right. Hang tight. You know what? You may have to go out and come back in, and we'll come back to you, okay? That probably will help when you do that.
How about now?
So oh, there you are.
Hey, he's on.
Hey,
We hear you.
All right.
I'm not in my normal office. Because
It's
I'm
all right.
Oregon Tech campus today. So
It's all great. So who in the world is Victor Villegas? What are you up to?
sure. So I am the broadband and digital technology coordinator at Oregon State University. I have a public-facing job, working statewide with organizations, communities, schools, industry on basically bridging the digital divide. So that's everything from broadband and social media, AI, cybersecurity, even drones and robotics. It's basically making sure everyone's able to use technology safely and responsibly.
That's awesome. And for people that don't know, Victor is also awesome with puppets. That's the subject for another day. Okay, so Scott, we're going to let you lead things off today. For you and I, and you're always 5 steps ahead of me, but for you and I, we've been trying to catch up with all this technology, utilize it in a good way, because a lot of people just want to shun AI and say, there's too many problems. It's going to steal all the jobs. It's going to do all this, and I don't want it. And so talk a little bit about why we should use it or shouldn't, whatever your opinion is, and the benefits.
Well, that's a good question. Let me just get you back here. So AI is a tool, and technology is advancing. And one of the things that happens when you have rapid advancing technology is people misunderstand it. And so my friend Matt Rouse wrote a book, Will AI Take My Job? And he's actually doing a revised version on that, even though the book recently came out. And the reason is similar to a comment I made on one of his posts when he was talking about AI, when I said, I woke up today and everything I knew about AI was wrong. So people will say, oh, you can't use AI pictures because it'll put 6 fingers on there. Well, that was last week. Things have been fixed and changed and different. And so what you think you know about it, you probably don't. But I'll just say one of the things about AI in the rapid evolution of it today is that it has been termed likened to the Industrial Revolution that changed the world and changed the way people worked. In those days, people came off of the farms. They got consolidated into cities, and they became tied to the machines. And I will say that in the Industrial Revolution, the tools, the machines that were being built had interchangeable parts. And one of those interchangeable parts was people. And people were doing like these very boring, drudgery related jobs. Advanced through today, many people are doing these boring, drudgery, repetitive jobs. AI is freeing people up and allowing them to use imagination and creativity, judgment, and their interpersonal skills, and taking away those mundane, routine things that we do. So I'm in favor of AI. I'm just putting that out there because it will allow us to do more of what we can do as people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that there's so many good benefits, and it does allow us to really speed things up. It also helps with people that are in situations where they might be lonely. And this is where Dan comes in because, I dealt with both of my parents. They both gone to heaven at this point, and they both went through senior care and caregiving and all of that. And Dan has come up with such an amazing use for AI. Dan, I'm just going to shut up there and turn it over to you because you know what you're talking about. I don't. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. I agree with Scott. I mean, it is a tool. It's a very, very powerful tool. And used properly, it actually should, and I beat this drum all the time, enhance our lives, not take them over. Just enhance who we are, what we can do. A lot of the things about AI right now and leading up to this are, your chat GPTs, your Geminis, your processes. It helps me get things done faster. Well, at EverFriends, we took a little bit of a different approach. We are trying to make it a relational thing. So it's not that what we can get done, but how can it help us as humans become better humans? Whether it is through conversations, through asking questions about maybe you have a older mom that's having some struggles with anxiety. Can a digital human with AI that can mirror her, that can have meaningful conversations with her, can it walk her through those steps to make her feel better in those moments when nobody else is around, maybe 2:00 in the morning? Yeah, it can. Can it give you a recipe when only you have 3 things in the refrigerator and you want to make dinner just for one person? Can it tell you what to make? Yeah, it can. And so it can fill in those gaps in life, not just get us more things done, but help us to enhance our lives as humans. And that is the biggest thing that I think is going to be the change from what we've seen AI to now what is going to be the next big thing, because it has such an ability, as Cami said, to mirror, to learn our emotions. I mean, the advancements that we have had in emotional, the tones and the speech and recognizing emotion through either the way we speak or our facial expressions, like Russ said, it's coming a long ways, and it's coming a long ways fast. And so it's same with us. We started it a year and a half ago, and it's changed already a ton since we even started. And that's a good thing. We are getting better and better. It's getting where it's more and more lifelike, if you will. Like, we can never replace human connection. We're not going to try to, but we do want to help in those areas of life that you just need a little extra support. You need a little encouragement. Our EverFriends digital humans, they are always encouraging. They never have bad days, and they're always on your side. They don't tell your stories. They don't tell your secrets, and they never judge you. And we found that people just love to have chats whenever they want with those kinds of parameters around them, around any subject that they ever could want to talk about.
Well, I think, am I the only one that thinks of Star Trek when we start talking about this? I remember the AI voices talking to Captain Kirk. So I don't know, I'm aging myself, but you know what? Craig, you're another one. Craig is another one that is just so knowledgeable and put together. The reason I said Vern, because it's Vern AI. There you go. Talk to us a little bit about what you've got going, Craig.
Sure. Well, I can kind of echo some of the sentiment that we all have had, like Dan and Scott have said, that, AI really is a tool, much like, the computer was a tool, the internet was a tool. We'll continue to see tools. So as long as we live, and they just kind of make our lives easier, more efficient, better, all across the board. And of course, anytime you get any type of new innovation, it's always kind of displacing, and be scary to those that are used to the status quo. But time and time again, what we've seen, especially within our society and culture, is that we see innovation leading and actually creating new opportunities for everybody. One of the things that I kind of see AI doing is it democratizes the ability for a lot of folks to be able to express themselves. Maybe they're not the greatest artist, but they know exactly what they want. They can speak it. They can talk about it. And those skills are just as important, right, as actually putting pen to paper sometimes. So the ideation part, and it is not. It kind of allows creators to have, ultimate palettes, right, in order to paint their stories and to write their narratives. And so, it does give a lot of power, to people. And what we see and what we do is empathy. So it's just understanding how human emotions work. We use that for helping humans understand each other, in a communication process, from emails to, video calls like this, for example, phone calls, all the way down to, having AI humans, kind of like what Dan was talking about, being able to be empathetic and understanding the emotions that are being said, and also being able to regulate their own emotions, right? We don't want to pass on these contagions to folks. You know, have our bot make somebody angry. Boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? Now, we already have enough problems sometimes with our customer service reps. So last thing we need is a bot, right, doing it. And that's one of the things that we do at Vern is we enable that to happen. Because there are just as much as there's power, Russ, there are pitfalls, right? And if you don't get it right, you can have some problems. And you mentioned earlier about therapy, and I wanted to kind of caution everyone to be careful using large language models as your therapy bot. And the reason is one of the reasons why we made Vern and why his product's differentiation is that the large language models mix up all these psychological models. And then the standard model says there's 5. There's one that says there's 7. One that says there's 9, one even 13. Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions, most popular one. The problem is that they're all introducing these confines and different labels, and so and there's no consensus in what an emotion actually is in all these psych models. So when you ask a large language model, hey, how am I feeling? It says, well, I'll take a little of this, a little of that, a little of this theory, and we'll kind of mix it up, and it'll give you soup. And it's dangerous, right? Because it's kind of impossible to use as a measurement tool if it never gives you the same answer twice.
Craig, you are so knowledgeable in this area, and we're going to talk more about that because there's so many factors that go into it. And really, we do talk, I'm going to echo this, that it is a tool, and if used correctly, it can be very good at enhancing your life and your business. And Dimitry, I'm telling you, can also be a pain in the behind if you get dumped into somebody's voicemail AI that only knows 3 or 4 prompts, and you keep yelling at it over and over, and it doesn't know how to respond, and then you hang up, or it hangs up on you. That was what happened to me the other day. It says, I can understand full sentences. So I said a sentence, and it didn't understand my sentence, and a couple of those, and then it hung up on me. And so there's times when it could be an annoyance to people in business too. So talk about how we stay away from that and utilize the good in our business.
Yes, Russ. So we're arriving into a point where business owners have the tools sometimes accessible to them, LLMs that are with different flavors, and so it's not the fact that the tools are no longer accessible. As Craig mentioned, there's a democratization that is happening. At least finally, a lot of small businesses are actually being able to access this new technology. Where corporate used to be the only one to afford it. So this is a great shift in business because 97% of businesses are small, medium-sized businesses. So we specialize in helping them, is because the fact is, it comes down to understanding what technology can do for you, what it can't. Like for example, as you mentioned, you have to be very careful because we used to. We're no longer in the days where we used to do automation where it was a predictive outcome, rule-based. You knew what you were getting into. It was great. At this point, we have intelligent entities where automations having agents like AI agents, where that now they learn, think, reason, and even make decisions. So you have to be very careful how you establish that. Understand what the parameters that have to be. The guardrails, that are going to help you actually execute that. So it becomes it's not as simple as just plug and play or anything like that. You have to understand, for example, you have to understand your internal processes as well. You can't automate something that you don't even understand. And that happens a lot of times when I come into so many businesses that they don't even understand the internal operations. So we help them understand how they operate first and understand where they want to go, and start with automation is easy because you can start with the pain points and bottlenecks directly to them. So we want to eradicate as much as unintelligent, repetitive, manual, mind-numbing work from the knowledge work, as you may already know. So that helps especially small, medium-sized businesses because they're forced to get full-time employment. So now they have options.
Right. And I that just said options, Victor, that the AI and the technology is only as good as the person that gives it instructions or puts it together, right? Utilizes the right tools so you don't get stuck in voicemail loops or whatever's going on. I mean, it's way beyond that. I understand that. Just one that sticks with me all the time. But talk about that, really having to know the technology and how you utilize it there at Oregon State.
Sure. Well, you have to be very familiar with the limitations, right? It's not perfect. It does some amazing work, but you still have to have the human in the loop. You are the one in control. You are the expert, the subject matter expert, in terms of what you want out of it. And it goes back to, I'm sure many of you heard, the term GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not asking the right questions and you're not prompting it correctly, you're going to get junk back. Data that you put in there has to be filtered, has to be, specific to what you're looking for. So the more the detailed that you are, the better the response that you're going to get. The way I use it is, I work in education, right? Public education and K through 12. So I do a lot of workshops and presentations. So it has cut my time in developing outlines and presentations, right? What used to take me 3-5 hours to do, I can now do it in minutes. And it just processes, workflows, summarizing hundreds of pages of documents into easily digestible information. But I think the best way is just kind of using it as an assistant to kind of ideate. So work through, have this idea, not exactly sure how to execute it, and give me the 5 different ways that I could probably do this creatively, right? How do I engage youth in a very different way? And it will come up with some pretty good ones. It might not be exact, but it gives me a great starting point where then I can add my expertise to that, refine it, and then together collaboratively with AI, we produce something that is better than I could have just done by myself.
Yeah, I have learned in my rudimentary beginnings here in AI, and Scott, you have been a big proponent of me using it for different things, just to help along. And it's helped me a lot in book research. It's helped me a lot in putting together things and not having it write it for me, but I'll ask for suggestions and it will actually give me the suggestions, the reason it's suggesting this, what it thinks, if I would like this kind of an option, and I could ask it another question. I've had a full conversation with ChatGPT over a small little paragraph that's going in my book. And it just made such a difference because it gets me thinking, and then I can write and make changes like I want to. The other thing is it is so fast and it does such amazing things, but we need to always remember, Scott, and I'm sure you'll attest to this, that AI is only as good as the information it's pulling from. So a lot of times when I put a name out there, it might confuse that name with somebody else and give me the wrong information. So you got to be very careful that you're vetting everything you're getting, right? Right, Scott? I'm still not hearing you, Scott.
There we go. I know Dimitry will be able to address this a little bit better, but there is a difference between the AI systems that are out there and automation. And automation is just something that happens based off a trigger. So somebody clicks this box and it sends them an email, or there's a decision tree in that voicemail box where they're listening and is like, if it says yes, go here. If they say no, go there, and so forth. That's not really AI. That's just automation. And so, but it's very popular. It's a very good marketing term right now, right? To say we're using AI, but the AI that we're using in ways, we use a lot of the large language models, and so people, we're prompting them, right? We're a lot of the experts that we have in the marketing side are talking about the prompts, how to prompt it to get the right information out. And in a way, the AI tools that we're using in that sense are similar to the early 90s when we had cell phones that were in bags, or the Motorola Brick was the first phone that I had. And it had 30 minutes of talk time. And if I accidentally crossed over some imaginary line, all of a sudden I was roaming and paying $1 a minute for my calls. Well, someone could say, yeah, cell phones are terrible. It's expensive and you have limited time and all you can do is, do these few things. Well, the AI that we're using today is more similar to that 1992 Motorola phone than what we will have into the future. And what I'll say about that is that today, if I put information in and I can fact check that out because it's an N of 1 that comes out. But I'll say that based on the needs of society, we'll have to scale this up to large outputs where we won't be able to check everything, right? The output's going to be in the millions, and it's not going to be seen as just writing some books or scripting some things out. We're looking at units of tens of thousands of columns of data and hundreds of thousands of lines of data. Only a computer, only a machine can analyze that and find the patterns. So things when it comes to the energy grid. So you've got all of a sudden all different types of sources of power. We don't have just a coal plant fired up or a hydro dam or some other source. You've got wind and solar and local generation. The patterns are going to be so complex that to be able to operate that, you're going to have true AI, not just the automation that says, oh, at this time of day we click on the wind power, and at this time we click on the solar power, and this time we spool back up the coal plants for energy. So what we're really looking at is on the individual basis, we can 100% check for accuracy the work that comes out, the outlines that Victor is using. But to run society, we're going to have to be very sure that it is a completely robust system.
Well, and I think a lot of people are worried about that, Dan, about it running us. I think a rudimentary, to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, a rudimentary AI was my iPhone, because I talked to Siri and Siri talked back to me. And, I think that now they've all updated, Apple and all these things. My computer's updated AI and Google's updated AI and social media has updated AI and all the things that they do. But it's interesting, a lot of times when it comes to the things you have too, we've made it so much human-like. You can pick the type of voice you want the way it speaks to you and all of these things. It's really very, very more personal. And like you say, working on even empathy and things like that coming from that to help seniors. So talk more about that, how we've kind of leaped ahead here in these years and a lot of room to go.
And that's true. It's a good thing to talk about those kind of lines, right? Because we are moving so quickly. And when we talk about people's emotions, like Craig can tell you better than anybody, like those emotions are so powerful. That's what makes us human. And so, yes, nowadays we can put any voice we want. We can take 2 minutes of video and make a digital human that looks identical to you, has the same movements as you, same facial expressions as you. But we're kind of learning as we go about where these lines are. Well, I have a lot of conversations regularly about, okay, so where do we stop this? If we create somebody that looks like a family member that passed away, and they can talk to that family member, looks like them, sounds like them, you can prompt them, give them information so they can give it back to you almost the same way they would. Does that help grieving, or does it make it last longer? We don't know, right? Nobody's ever tried this before, and so there's a lot of these kind of questions that we are struggling with. The people on the front lines, all of us here, that are trying to figure out, okay, where are we going with these things, and are we doing good? That is the number one question that I ask myself every day. I know, like Craig does as well. What good are we doing? Are we headed the right direction, and making sure that the impact that we're making is a positive impact? The issue is, Russ, is that because some of these things have never existed before, it's really, really hard to decide where those things are. What is the ethical transparency? What is the where does the data go that we collect? I mean, emotions are very powerful. We know commercials have done it to us for years, right? They pull on us. They give us the little dogs and they tell us we need to save the dogs. And I mean, we know all these things already. Now AI can know us better than they ever could know us, a marketing firm or anything like that. And so we have to be careful about how we build it, why we build it, and what we do with the information we collect, because as humans, our emotions really do affect how our lives work. And so we think about that a lot every day. The conversations we have about where do we want to improve people's lives. We want to help them have a better end of life, especially for ever friends. We want to give them support, emotional support. We want to help them through tough times. We had a lady talk to a little while back. Her son had cancer, and she worked through it with the AI, and she said, it was so encouraging and it was so validating. These are the reasons we wanted to do this, because she didn't have anybody in that moment when she was feeling that to talk to. But we definitely have to think about, okay, we don't want people to necessarily give up their human connection. That's not good. So where do we go? How far do we go? As we've improved so much, I mean, the digital humans are getting more and more realistic. Greg can attest to the fact that, the fact that they can validate and tell you what kind of emotions they know how you feel. At least it seems like that, obviously. And that's really can become an addicting kind of thing. And so these are the things we struggle with, because we are on the front lines of this, and we have to ask these questions. They need to be asked.
Yeah. Craig, pick that up.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dan, and you're 100% right. You have to have ethical operators to begin with. People that are going to be responsible, that have a goal and a mission that's shared, and the overall goal is to help people, right? And if the goal of the AI is to reach an end that is positive for a human being, then the AI should be able to, have the tools necessary to do so. And Dan's right. We struggle with that all the time too, about this emotional information. One thing we found in our journey is it kind of, hopefully it makes everybody feel a little bit better and give them a sigh of relief, is we found that we as humans evolved to share these signals. We evolved to detect these signals from one another. So all the AI does is basically what we do without thinking, right? We evolved these abilities to detect these, the word choices, language, the coding, the vocal tonation, the facial expressions, all of this kind of comes all in together and plays in. So if the AI can replicate, what we do as humans, and we don't read minds, then the AI really essentially can't read minds either. We always tell people, if you don't want to come across as a jerk, then don't act like one, right? So as far as that goes, but there's capabilities, within our space even, to do manipulation and control on people's emotions, and there are certain sensitive areas in which the regulations definitely come into play. You have to have some things that, private information has to be stored correctly. You have to make sure that you're not violating anybody's privacy rights or anything else like that. So, and it can be, as we know, as Dan kind of mentioned earlier, about commercials and, the tear-jerking commercials about the dogs that out in the rain that send the $19.99 a month. We've all seen it, right? Those things are just as manipulative as other things we see in advertising, marketing every day, manipulating us, playing with our emotions, playing with our feelings. So it's something we have to understand, that when we take something from the real world into the AI world, it's not special. It's not necessarily scary, but it should be handled the same way, with responsibility, good, solid testing and explainability.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, this is where we're kind of figuring it out as we go, right, Dimitri? I mean, it's moving so fast, like we talked about before, and the goal is to enhance people's lives, to make them better, more productive and effective. And, these whole things about, even making them companions and all of that. The technology seems almost limitless. But people can get stuck in it sometimes and just think it just wants to take over, right, Dimitri?
Right, Russ. And I think that we have to understand, for example, it's 2025 and nobody should be doing data entry, because business is not good for business, nor is it good for a human being to do repetitive work for that long. So those are the things that we got to understand that we should move away from, right? And not only that, but we are entering a new era where we're going to be working in collaboration with a digital workforce. It's no longer like Scott said, just automation that's like little scripts. No, we're talking about AI agents. In other words, we're talking about entities that are intelligent, that are going to be working next to you, not for you, not to replace you, but actually with you. And those are the positive things that we should look at, is the fact that we're going from doing to oversight, which is where we're trying to get to strategy. So those are the things that I believe that if you think about how AI was constructed, people fear what they don't understand. So we should start thinking, okay, what is AI? How did it become AI? You got to remember that AI learns from data. Human beings learn from experience. Two different things, but still AI is the reflection of those experiences. So we're not talking about an alien entity. We're talking about the reflection of who we are. And we're talking about going towards the same place, but having the opportunity to actually create this good data that's going to go into these systems that are going to be feeding us with the best predictive outcome and the best generated data. So I think that our relationship with technology has to improve. We have to understand how much we understand and how involved we're with it. Reskilling is going to be big. Fourth industrial revolution is going to create disruption. So we need to be careful about that. What is good? Where should we implement it? Where is a place where we should still be more human and less technical? Those are the questions we're going to have to ask ourselves, especially in an era where we're going to be collaborative, not separated. There's not going to be silos in our life. We're going to be coexisting. And so understanding them is the best thing we can do right now, getting involved and sharing our experiences.
Yeah, that's so good. And Victor, pick that up.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the data that these systems are trained on. We have to, it works on tons of data, but which data, right? They're scrubbing data from the internet, and so it's scrubbing the good and the bad. If you're not careful, it's also getting the information from the majority of industrialized nations, right, and certain countries. So the data is not always representative. So there's bias in that data, right? I work with some of the tribes and data sovereignty, who owns the data that these systems are being trained on? And is it representative of them? We know that it is not. Sometimes that's on purpose. If you don't have your data out there, you're pretty much invisible, right? That can be on purpose. People have privacy issues that they don't necessarily want their information out there, but you have to decide how much you want to make public and what do you keep private. And so there's always going to be some type of bias, and we just have to be cognizant that just because it's giving you the information doesn't mean it is the most relevant and that it's reflective of yourself and what you need. It's kind of just an overall generalization. Think of the bell curve, right? It's giving you a lot of that middle stuff as the majority, but what about those edge cases? So we have to be very careful of what we're training these systems on and how that information is being pushed as the ultimate knowledge, right? This is the way things are. Well, that's the way things are based on the information that it was fed. And that may or may not be relevant or correct.
Well, and it's so interesting coming out of education nowadays because, the young people often know so much more than we do because they've grown up in this technology age. And it's an amazing, it's just amazing. So, okay, we're going to make a last round here, everybody. And I need you to take a couple minutes and give us your gold nugget of our conversation today, what you want people to remember from our conversation, and then let us know how we get in touch with you. Scott, we're starting with you.
So I'll say bad guys will always do bad things. And sometimes they're going to use AI. That doesn't make the tool bad. That just means bad guys do bad things. As far as the language models, well, let me just separate out because there's a tool, and that's the AI system that's gathering data. And so when I was talking about the energy systems, that's the data that it's looking at. When we're looking at helping us write or ideate things, those are the large language models. And those are pulling in from various sources and whatever those sources are. Now, there was just a case with Meta where they were not found liable for using copyrighted material to train the tools. And this is very similar to me reading books and then synthesizing and writing a paper off of them. It's just that the computers don't forget, so it remembers everything. So it is just synthesizing. It's not quoting. So the tools are good. I love what Craig and Dan are doing because it's a practical application that can be done today and is changing lives for the good today. And Victor is absolutely right. The data that we pull in is biased, and we need to be aware of that. That will get better if we choose to let it get better. Anyone can find me at my website, dscottsmith.com. All of the contact information is there, whatever social media platform works for you, my phone number, email, everything is there. Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys and talk about cool stuff.
Yeah, it is a cool subject for sure. All right. And Dan, you are up next.
Okay, my nuggets would be this. AI is a very powerful tool. It has a bad reputation, sometimes for a reason. There's a lot of fear around it. But what I'll tell you is that we've seen firsthand, it has a lot of things it can do to make our lives better. We grew up in a world that was one size fits all in a lot of ways. And AI brings personalization that we've never had, whether it be education, elder care, mental health. All these things can be so personalized now because of the way the AI can work for each person individually. So it is meant to enhance, not replace people, meant to make people better at their jobs by giving more data, by giving more feedback and things like that. But I will echo the same things that a couple of people said. It only is as good as the things you trained it on. And so we have to be careful. And like with us here at EverFriends, I know Vern as well, we're really, really careful about making sure that we're tailoring it to our audience, to the people we're trying to impact, because it does have biases. It doesn't do really good. It's great with patterns, but it doesn't do really good with the messy edges and sides of life. And so, at least not yet. And so give it a chance if you haven't had a try at it yet. Past ChatGPT, give it a chance. It's going to do a lot of really, really good, even though you hear things that are maybe scary sometimes. If you're more interested about it, I just had a book come out, Soulware 2.0. It talks about ethics that we talked about today. It talks about the different good things that AIs can use. We can use AI for, whether it be autism, whether it be education, elder care, regular health care. Gives you a good idea of and how it works. Because sometimes the reason we don't understand is like how in the world does it know that I'm angry today? How does it know that I'm happy today? We don't know. And so this gives you an idea of how it works, and maybe that'll give you a little bit less, trepidation when you use it. So other than that, you can get us at everfriendsai.ai, and you can reach me on all social medias at Daniel Hungerford.
There you go. Awesome. So great. Thank you, Dan. All right, Craig, you're next.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Russ, the opportunity to meet with all of you and talk with everybody and the panelists and esteemed panelists. Thank you very much. My nugget is AI is old technology. It's been around since late 1970s, early 80s. And so the technology now has kind of enabled those processes that we've had even back then to be to come to the forefront. So what we're going to see is just evolution of learning. And what we're doing with AI is just teaching a machine to learn. Well, what it learns is really up to us. Well, it's going to learn the bad stuff or the good stuff. Well, it's really depending on what we're going to feed it. Like we said earlier, garbage in, garbage out. And incidentally, we learned early with Vern is that to throw garbage in and try to get an answer out of it wasn't going to work. So like we were talking earlier, like large language models, Vern never was anything like that. We were kind of a hand curated model that we've used machine learning to test on. So always look at the AI that you're using, look at your use case, make sure that it fits, and always give it a shot. It's fun to play around with. There's very little risk in there. Certainly not the Terminator, at least not yet. And even if it was, wouldn't we want it to actually like us and be empathetic and care about us? So I guess that's my little nugget to leave you with. You can find me on vernai.com, and I also dropped Russ the link to some AI humans we are going to allow folks to check out that are watching today. get a chance to take a look at some of the state of the art of these avatars. So, and also check out Dan's book and his apps. It's incredible stuff. Very, very cool stuff.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much. Dimitry, you're up next.
Thank you, Russ. This has been a wonderful experience. It's one of my favorite topics. Obviously, it's affecting and impacting the world right now. So I just want to, my nugget as well as my CTA is like, remember, technology is no longer for the IT department. I'm a computer scientist, but it's wonderful that technology is for everyone now. So the time for us to join and be part of this great movement, Fourth Industrial Revolution, is now. So just get involved with it. Don't be too afraid of making mistakes as well. It's part of science. We need to get as many people involved because we don't want certain developers to develop the structures that are going to be used by everyone in the future. As we said, we want to create good data that is inclusive, that we can get, reduce all the biases that can come along with that, and any silos or anything that can disconnect us, bring us together, bring us as humans, allow us to understand each other better, and hopefully, just like tonight, technology will bring us together as citizens of the world, and will help us understand ourselves a little more, being humans. Hopefully, we can use automation and AI to help us find the time to become more human and share those experiences that we want to invest on. So just wanted to let you know, if you are interested in an AI and automation assessment, you can reach me on LinkedIn, or any conversation you may want to have about how it's impacting each and every industry out there, especially for the small, medium-sized businesses. Please reach out. Thank you, guys.
Wow, that is so good. And of course, everybody's contact information is flashing up on the screen. Just want to let you all know it's all clickable in the comments and the show notes. You can go right to it and you can get in contact with our guests. And Victor, you're up last.
Thanks, Russ. Great hearing from everybody, and thanks for the invitation to participate in this. AI is here. It's here to stay. It is changing rapidly. I mean, what you think you know today, by tomorrow, it's all changed. And it's hard enough for technologists to keep ahead of it. However, I recommend people start using it, start playing around with it, find its limitations, and use it safely and responsibly, right? It's going to affect every single part of our lives, whether that's healthcare, education, business, you name it. It's there. And it's something we have to learn to live with it. One really quick tip that I've been telling people, I field a lot of questions about AI, and you can ask AI those questions and it will answer you. I think that's the best prompt tip I can give. If you don't know how to use AI, ask it. If you want to learn how to prompt better, ask it. If you want to learn its limitations, ask it. It will tell you. So that's my tip of the day. And thanks again for the opportunity. Look forward to connecting with folks. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can find me there.
All right. So awesome. Yeah. It's interesting because I have found, and I'm probably way behind all of you, but when I'm in ChatGPT, I can actually go back and forth. It's showing me things, asking me what I think, I respond, and it responds back. And it is a great way to find out things and find good research and find out about how to use things, all of that. So it's a blessing. And I just want to say, my little gold nugget of the day is have fun with it. You know what? Learn how to use it by having fun. And the way I started, I had a friend that suggested this. I said, roast Russ Hedge the way that, and I named a comedian, and it just came within seconds, this whole hilarious thing. It's amazing how much the internet knows about me, because it was pretty much spot on, but it was hilarious and it was funny. And I even posted that, and everybody else enjoyed it, telling people it was AI, doing this. And it was just a lot of fun. And so it's a great way to just make you smile as well. And as you do that, you learn as you go. And it doesn't matter where you are in the process. I'm sure you would all agree, because we are all on different levels. Most of you way ahead of me, but you just got to take it one step at a time, give it a try, do like Victor said, and ask it questions and let it respond. Just remember, though, that you need to pay attention to what's happening, because it's not always 100% information is given back to you. It's only as good as the information is drawing from. So you need to pay attention to that. But it is a good tool, and it can definitely enhance your life. So everybody, I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to wrap the show up with you all on air here. We're just going to call it good for today. And you know what? Everybody, we're here every Thursday, 4 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. After I get done, this also converts to a video podcast that sits on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So you can still share this with your friends and show them. It'll be on YouTube and LinkedIn forever. Facebook for 30 days to change that. But then also becomes an audio podcast. If you want to listen on Spotify if you didn't have time to watch the whole thing, you can do that as well. And I just want to say, have fun today. Enjoy the rest of your week. Little old Kermit there. You got to have a smile at the end. Have an amazing week, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.